Hello and welcome to the CDO magazine interview series. I'm Sanjay Acharya with HiLabs. We're partnering with CDO magazine, MIT, and CDO IQ and the International Society of Chief Data Officers for a series of interviews. Today I have the great pleasure of talking with Luis Velandia, Chief Data Officer at Best Doctors Insurance. Hi, Luis, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Thank you very much.
So the first question I have, and I think this comes up for a lot of folks in the data area or data arenas. What are the most exciting kind of practical applications you've seen of machine learning that you've seen either in your experience or in the industry you're in, or even just from kind of general examples that you've seen?
Yeah, fantastic question. I really like this topic, and here one of the things I want to mention first. Is that when trying to apply machine learning, even before doing it, we clearly need to understand the underlying business problem so that we can decide whether it is appropriate for machine learning. And sometimes you don't even need a machine learning model to solve your problems. But in my experience, so I believe I've had the great opportunity to have seen and participated in practical applications of machine learning and deep learning in banking, health insurance, mining, and the retail industries. Some of them are more related to things like customer lifetime value, lead quality prediction, predictive maintenance, branch network optimization, policy holder behavior, including macro factors, predicting illnesses and treatments, binary classification problems like churn. There's a bunch of examples I can provide you with. However, the ones that are so compelling and that strikes me a lot are those that include the human element. And for example, I truly believe in helping people to improve health outcomes using data and machine learning techniques. There are machine learning models that can predict healthcare outcomes, including cost, utilization, and quality. And actually this morning, Sanjay, I was reading an article where there's a group of people saying that they can, by using deep learning, they can see breast cancer before it happens. And this is AI, this is deep learning. That's wow. I was like reading that we can do those type of things. And that's my message. Now, in one of the previous companies I worked for, we built a few machine learning models to predict if a member is going to be hospitalized in the next 12 months, focusing on chronic illnesses. We used more than 100 data points, and the insights we could get from the models were used to define and implement care coordination programs. That's the beauty of this. And the most remarkable output from this journey was that those who joined the programs, statistically speaking, Sanjay, could live longer compared to those with similar attributes who did not join the programs. That for me is so compelling, rewarding, and obviously makes me feel very happy about it.
Wow, that's great, and great examples, and really awesome that that type of model was implemented and gained or produced all that benefit for those patients. And I guess on this topic, right? When you were doing that, since you mentioned that that type of application for machine learning, I think it's been noted, right? There are a couple of different ways in which companies are trying to adapt or bring in AI and ML to their organizations, right? One is purchasing like kind of a general purpose application and hiring your kind of in-house data science team to work with your data and drive value in that machine learning space. Another is, right, just kind of vendoring it out, sort of outsourcing the platform and the data science. And then, in some cases there are some hybrid approaches, right, where you may, kind of embed a team with a vendor. I guess across those three approaches, which ones have you seen, and which ones have you kind of found to be the most effective?
Yeah, no, that's good, Sanjay. I believe it clearly depends on the level of data analytics maturity of the organization. And what I mean by that is, if the organization, for example, has a robust data literacy, data culture, it's got an operating model in place, interacting with the stakeholders of each of the functions, it's got like a value measurement in place. What I mean by that is they are ready or they're actually quantifying the impact of the analytic use cases. If the organizations have a data management framework in place and a robust data platform, including a data science environment that underpin the enablement on the implementation of the specific analytic use cases, I would say, I would hire a couple of data scientists initially, and I would create a data science grad program to start building the data science capabilities in-house. Now, if there's zero data science capabilities and the data and analytics maturity is low, I would start with defining and implementing the data analytics strategy. And I would focus on the data governance domain first, which is something we discussed before. Then in parallel, if possible, or where possible, the data platform, and work on how to improve the data culture. For the data platform, I would get a vendor to design and implement it with clear alignment to specific use cases, not only about data science, but reporting or deep dives, and 1 or 2 data science use cases that can create business value. That's a key message. And I think the quantification of the business or the business value is super important here. In this case, I would get help from those vendors to go through that initial learning path, and I would hire initially, for example, a data scientist to be part of the journey. Okay, after some of the data science capabilities have been built, I would focus my attention on strengthening the internal data science capabilities by hiring more data scientists and creating a data science grad program, as I said before, with some universities, for example, to focus more on creating a pipeline of these use cases across the functions and getting to the point where we could prototype, pilot, and get to the production of the machine learning models.
Got it. Okay. So a bit of, it sounds like, again, based on maturity of organization and data fluency, you can kind of pick the right model, but overall favoring kind of a more of a in-house approach, right, to building out these data science capabilities.
Absolutely.
I think that concludes our interview. So I want to thank you again, Luis, for joining me today. And for the audience out there, please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews just like this.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sanjay, for having me.